Hey guys, what's good? Mike here, Laker Talk. Let's talk Laker basketball. Let's talk Brandon Ingram. I am not giving up on Brandon Ingram, okay? I want to make that clear. In my last video, I talked about bringing Brandon Ingram off the bench. The thing that you have to realize is, as a Laker fan, and a lot of guys, we react from game to game, poor game to poor game, poor game to good game. We react. But in my aspect, what I do is I look for things. I react, but I look for things to fix and try to get better. If we're losing, if we lost today, if we won 50 games in a row and we lost today, I'm going to voice my opinion on how we can win the next game, okay? So when it comes to me looking at situations on how to solve a particular problem, I'm not selling on a particular player. I'll let you know if I sell on a player. I'm like, I don't want this player. We need to trade him. Brandon Ingram, I am not giving up on Brandon Ingram. Somebody asked me on Twitter if I'm buying or selling on Brandon Ingram based on what we know now. Listen, the thing is, we thought we were excited about Brandon Ingram, about all the gifts that he has, and we were like expecting a lot. And Magic Johnson was expecting a lot. Hey, he needs to average 20 points per game this year, or he could average 20 points per game. I think they gave him the captain title and stuff like that. Listen, I am not giving up on Brandon Ingram. I'm still buying. I'm not selling on Brandon Ingram. I'm still buying. I'm just playing the long game. I'm readjusting my expectations of Brandon Ingram. It might take 6 months, or it might take half the year for his game to mature a little bit closer into what we thought. It could take the rest of this year until next year for him to really mature into, for his game to mature into what we thought. You don't give up on Brandon Ingram. Here's why. 1, 20 years old, and that I don't when I see something in a 19-year-old, if I don't like it, I'll let you know. Like, I don't see him long term. But Brandon Ingram, he's 20, okay? So I'm going to use that as a part, but it also in context, in addition to all these other things. So the fact that he's 20, he's extremely coachable, okay? And 3, he has heart. All right, those are the things in my opinion. And then in 4, he has these God-given gifts that you just can't teach. The length, the height, his long wingspan and things like that. You can't teach those types of things. And 5, he is highly skilled at that level. Okay, now you go, hey, are there some things that he can learn, he can develop into, he can be coached into in terms of the NBA game, into making his game a little bit easier? Of course. So with all those things, his age, he's coachable, he has a heart of a lion, he's highly skilled, and he has these God-given gifts that you just can't pick up off the street. You want to hold on to that, okay? Now what you need to do, what the Lakers staff needs to do, is identify and not sugarcoat it and say, hey, young fella, you're gonna be a superstar, all-star if you do X, Y, and Z. You have to learn the NBA game and let the game come to you. For example, somebody said it best. You can't play AAU type of style basketball in the NBA. You can't always beat your man. You can't just put your head down and beat your man every time, right? We see that with Julius Randle. It doesn't work. We saw that in the last game that we played. Brandon Ingram did that down the stretch. Just put his head down and tried to beat Gobert at the rim. You can't do that. In the NBA, you have to utilize NBA like fundamentals and tactics to free yourself up. So if you watch a Kevin Durant highlight, Kevin Durant always comes off screens, okay? And he frees himself up and he does a mid-range jumper. Brandon Ingram has a mid-range game. He has a mid-range jumper, right? You can see him post up players, but it's not just posting up players. Know how to utilize coming off screens. Free yourself up and just pull up on the mid-range. You know, that's in my opinion, whether it's a jump shot, it's a higher percentage shot than Brandon Ingram putting his head down and trying to force the issue at the rim. Although closer to the rim is a higher percentage shot. But I just think being freed up with his mid-range game, he'll have an easier chance to just, kind of shoot that ball. And as he gets into a rhythm, you watch Kevin Durant, he comes off screens daily. And Kevin Durant is what, 6'11" and things like that. He comes off screens, free himself up, boom, hitting the mid-range, and his shot is deadly. But we all see that Brandon Ingram has the capabilities of hitting that shot consistently. And that's why you see us on Twitter like, just shoot the ball, shoot the ball. So Brandon Ingram needs to identify like things that Kevin Durant does, and utilize those things. Come off screens, you know, set some pick and pops, or what have you. Whatever it is you need to do to free yourself up to get space, and use the jumper. Nobody can block that shot. You're 6'20", and you know, you have the wingspan, taller than everybody, you know, longer than everybody else. Use it. And I think the coaching staff needs to recognize and identify, run some plays for Brandon Ingram, you know, and I think that's gonna free up his game. And then obviously he's coachable, right? He's young. He's gonna grow into his body and stuff like that. So I'm not ever giving up on Brandon Ingram. I've been giving up on Brandon Ingram at a point, and Brandon Ingram can be highly valuable to the Lakers, scoring 12 points a game and just growing into his man body and playing good defense. So Brandon Ingram is someone that when you say he's untouchable, that's what we mean when we say Brandon Ingram is untouchable. His issue is if he doesn't grow into what we think, he's missing out on what could potentially be like a max type player. But nah, we're not selling on Brandon Ingram. That's my thoughts. Hit me up in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts. Thanks for commenting, liking, and subscribing. As always, follow me on Twitter at MikeSportsLA and Instagram at MikeSportsLA. We'll talk soon, guys. Peace.